There. Because of limited resources, when I am filming this, I will be referencing things that I've listed in an appendix. This will be photos, handouts. I videoed the handouts, the photos of the food I will include as well. To do this throughout the segment, because I'm not showing it live, I will hold up the pause. The pause will be any segment where I need to expand on more teacher knowledge and not addressing the student itself. Any other point in the video where I do not have the pause sign up, I will be addressing the student themselves, so it will be more student conversation. I will expand and do little ... segue parts where I would require student feedback, just because there is a bit of discussion within this. I will explain the discussion and where I wish it to lead and what focus I am hoping to address. Thank you, and please bear with me. Hi students! Today we're continuing on with our how to order food from the canteen exercise. Now you've previously covered temperature and introduction to the unit, and now we're moving on to adjectives. Now, we can tell someone what food and drink we want by describing them. To describe something, we use adjectives. We describe how they look, taste, feel, smell, shape, how much, temperature, anything that identifies an object as that. For example, I'm wearing a red jumper. You can tell it's my red jumper by the colour. You can tell it's a jumper by the style. That's a bit more vague because there's many styles of things, but it gets more concrete with different items. For example, this is my red apple. It's a round apple. These are easy to identify features, but we're focusing more on the adjectives such as red, round, and shiny. Now, what other words could you use to describe this apple? At this point, I would address the students with questions such as, what does an apple smell like? What does it taste like? Is it sweet? Is it sour? Explain these words as I'm going. It helps build up their glossary. You can track this within a mind map, which I strongly recommend. As the teacher that you perform on the board, students then can copy from there, and you can clarify information and new words that may come up in a more straightforward, easy to define way that they can later add to a glossary. Moving on from that, you should make sure that they have a grasp of the words they want to retain and use, and that everyone feels comfortable contributing, because this will lead into the group work, which they need to work as a partnership. Okay guys, now I'm going to get you to copy down any words that you want from the mind map, anything that's new, add to your glossary, and then once that's done, I want you to separate into pairs. Now, pick a partner you feel comfortable conversing with, because we're going to play a little game together. Get somewhere comfortable, relax, set up, and I'll come around and hand out the packages. The packages I'm referring to are the English learning cards and the handout. Now, most schools will have an English learning card pack. They come with food packs, the ones that I've identified in the past. This will have things like picture of banana, picture of orange, pictures of an apple. Now, I've done a mock-up, which I've included within the appendices video that I will later have. I will now use this in the video though, just to reference certain points, so I will not necessarily pause, just more reference as in I address my explanation to the students. Thank you. Okay, so the first handout is our card pack. Now what you want you to do is split it between you and your partner, and then take out 4 cards and put them face up with the word facing your partner so they can read it. What we're going to do now is play a game. In front of you, you'll have fruits, foods, drinks. I want you to pick one and not tell your partner what it is. Your partner will then ask you a question about your card. For example, the cards in front of me are a banana, an apple, and an orange. My partner can ask me questions about which one I have chosen. For example, is it round? If I say yes, that eliminates the banana. If they say, does it have a leaf? That eliminates the orange and it leaves me with the apple. You can play this many times, shuffling your cards, swapping cards because you won't have the same one. Just getting used to using the adjectives and just keep it casual. If you get stuck, I have provided another handout with a few words that we've covered in the past, such as colour, temperature, and amount. Pause segment here. To clarify, normally in classes such as this, you would have built up the knowledge on colours, flavours, amounts, just through general discussion of foods in the past if you brought it up, or other related things such as counting. For the purpose of this though, just to reiterate the concepts that we're going through, I've included an adjective sheet in the appendices, which I've shown a video of. I can also include a photo if needed for later reference. Please contact me if that's needed. The concept of this is just to help them flow with discussion. It's more about getting them talking and picking features and identifying adjectives as they relate to an object. As this is happening, the teacher should walk around the class, helping students, giving them new words, clarifying things, just making sure everything's flowing. Okay, once you've done that a few times and you've got up a good system, try and swap partners. Try and find someone else to play the game with you and see how many that you can get right, who gets it first. Just try and have some fun with it until you get comfortable, and I'll be still around helping you as we go. This is just to get them conversing with different language bases as well. The first pair was to get them comfortable. Flowing and moving around the room allows them to just talk with different people, move outside their comfort zone, and helps build towards the end game of addressing a person with a food order. Okay, when you feel comfortable with this activity, we're going to now move on. So we're going to work out how I would order using an adjective. So, for example, the sentence structure of asking for something, a specific item, and describing it is as follows. Person, me, would like an amount, 1, an adjective, red, and an item, apple, please. In a sentence, that is, I would like a red apple, please, or I would like 1 red apple, please. You can use this as many times as you want for different objects, and it's very versatile. For example, I would like a hot coffee, please. I would like 2 bananas, please. If you want to order more than one type of food or drink, you would add and between the adjective and the object, so it becomes this. Person, me, would like, amount, 2, item, bananas, and amount, 1, adjective, red, item, apple, please. That becomes, I would like 2 bananas and 1 red apple, please. Copy the sentence structure down into your books and then practice asking someone else for one of their items on their flashcards. For example, my partner could ask me, I would like 1 yellow banana, please, and 1 red apple. Add more items as you feel comfortable. Ask for multiples of the same items. Quantify, just have some fun with it and get comfortable. But remember to write the structure down, and remember any adjectives that you want or any items that you want to order at a later date, because you'll have to form your own canteen order after this activity. Now, as students are doing this, I would walk around distributing more cards maybe, giving them stuff they haven't seen before, shuffling the decks a bit so they can ask for different things. This is a good, simple activity. You can mix it up for a more advanced class by giving them items and asking them to describe the item without using the actual word of it. But for this class level, it's a good intermediary, just conversation-based activity because it's relying on the oral skills and not the written one as well. Now, I would include in my activity presentation, as I'm writing this sentence formula up, explaining commas for between the adjective and the noun, the item, and also explaining the grammar of and just sentence structure. But this would be loosely based, very formula based for a later reference that they copy down, and not very strongly emphasis on at this stage, because my emphasis is on oral skills, on their oral communication. So it's more on rapport and building up to that end goal. Okay, students, thank you for that. Now I'll collect the cards, put them on the end of the table, collect them up there, pass them to the front. Now we're going to move on to our last activity. Now we're going to take a look at all these items I've got on my desk. I've included a picture of this, of the items I've found. This is just an example. It can be any items you'd see regularly in a canteen. If you contact the canteen, they'll often lend you stuff like a pack of chips. It depends what your school has a canteen in. If you don't have a canteen and you're using this activity, I recommend things from lunchboxes, shops, things they're most likely to find and buy at an order kind of basis. If you can't get the actual food in, pictures are a good idea. I would use a visual stimulus board like an online board, just because you can access more pictures that way. Okay, now I'm going to pick an item from the table and we're going to play I Spy. You have to ask me questions about the item. You have to ask me, is it this item? For example, on my table, I have chosen an apple. I won't tell anyone that I've chosen apple, but I will start the conversation with, my item is shiny. Now, on that same table, there might be a shiny can. So you would have to ask questions of, is it round? I could say, this is round, and this is round. So you'd have to ask a different question. Is it red? I can say, it has red on it, is entirely red, or it has a little bit of red. You have to keep asking questions. You can ask, is it metal? Get more adventurous with your adjectives and try and guess the objects. We'll play this a few times through and I'll introduce some different adjectives depending how good you guys get. Alright, we'll just keep playing that till the end of the activity. Thanks guys so much for today, and let's just keep moving on with that. You will then play this game for a while to transition students from working independently one-on-one to voicing their opinions on texture, colour, smell, sharing adjectives aloud. This allows them to build up the confidence to address someone on a more public setting and not on a one-on-one basis, because while it is a private conversation, students need to get used to addressing people in a public space. So I played this game a few times for them. When I was talking about adding in more elusive objects and stuff like that, I could add in a block of chocolate. It's not something you typically see in a school canteen, neither is a can of drink, to be honest, but it's just different textures, different colours, different shapes. You can add in a rubber duck. It's just more about getting students used to describing things. You can add in a hot cup of tea if you have access to one. It's just different ways that students can do so, and by questioning you, working as a group, they're creating new adjectives together, they're guessing together, it helps. And that constant rapport of no, it is not that, or no, it is not that when they guess an item will help them in conversation later, as that does come up, the concept of no, we don't have any of the chocolate milk, or no, we don't have anything of the strawberry milk. So they're not intimidated by an answer of no, and they can move forward and describe another item that they wish. Thank you so much for this. I'll include the videos in sequence and labeled, but if not, I'll provide a copy of them on my YouTube video site with the links and put under the folder for this unit. Thank you so much.